Hey, welcome to another episode of the EV Charger Incentive and Rebate Quick Take. I'm Tony Booth, founder of Stay in Charge, and your host, bringing you this information of what's available for you in your state for incentives and rebates on EV chargers. Today, we're looking at the state of Kansas. Kansas is higher up there on the list of good programs. They've got a couple things going here. One that's pretty cool is they got a state program where you get an alternative fuel tax credit, they call it. So this is a tax credit on your state tax burden of up to 40% of what you spend on any alternative fueling device. So you get to claim that as a direct tax credit up to 40% of what you spent, up to $100,000. One thing that's nice about this one compared to like the 30C is you can carry it forward for several years. I believe it's 4 years is what they do. So this is a really good program. It does have one little caveat, okay? It is only available to Kansas registered C corporations. So if you have an LLC, if you have an S corp, if you have a single proprietor, right? When you have those tax benefits of those type of scenarios, then they're not giving you this tax credit. But if you're a corporation, a regular standard C corp, you get this 40% of your credit. So that's a good program. Obviously limited who it applies to, but it does, I know for a lot of y'all out there in the commercial real estate space, you work in LLCs and companies like that. So this doesn't always help. But those of you that are a corporation, you can take advantage of this one. So this is really good, like if you're doing fleet stuff, right? Like the fleet side can really kick in here. Now in Kansas, on the power company side, we have one power company there, Evergy, that has a program. That's the only thing available power company wise. They do a $2,500 per charger with a minimum of 2 chargers and a maximum, get this, of 2 chargers to 10 chargers. And that depends on your location type and things like that. If you, I know like the minimum or that low number is if you're on a highway corridor. So in other words, like a gas station on right off the exit of the highway, they're not going to let you put but 2 level 2s in and get the rebate there. If you're a multifamily, places like that, you can go up to the 10. Workplaces, fleets can go up to the 10. So they have just different levels, and depends on your property what you can do there. But it's $2,500. It goes towards anything. So Evergy is not a bad program. It's pretty easy. You fill out an upfront application. You definitely have to apply up front with them. They notify you that you have been accepted into the program. Then you go on and do the program as you're supposed to. Get the stuff installed and wrap it all up. Now, there is a requirement for approved equipment. You must make sure that you're using equipment that's on their approved list. So make sure when you're, checking on that stuff and looking at it, make sure you're kind of, okay, am I using the right charging equipment? Is this station networked with who I should be? There's a reporting thing that comes with that. They want quarterly reports being turned in. So if you're doing your self-managed kind of scenario, if you're trying to work that over, know that you've got to give them reporting every quarter. That is it for the level 2 side. On the DC fast charging, the only difference between that is so first of all, that state alternative fuel tax credit works for DC fast charging as well. So if you needed DC fast chargers for your fleet, or if you are a typical, C corporation running a real estate location that could benefit from DC fast charging, you can take advantage of that 40% tax credit. The power company, Evergy, will give you $20,000 per charger, maximum 2 chargers per site. So basically they'll give you $40,000 per location for you to install 2 or more chargers. They do require, if you fall into that category of a highway corridor site, in order to qualify for the incentive, you must install 2 chargers, which kind of, really you should anyway, right? If you're on one of the major highways like that, why would you only install 1? But anyway, that's what they do. Good, decent program, right? Not the again, like I said, Kansas is one of those states that really fits. It's above the 50 percentile as far as how good the programs are. For sure, it's in the top. It's not, I wouldn't say it's in the very top 5 or something like that. But if I could go put in if I'm getting $20,000 per charger, at least you're covering a good bit of your charger cost, or maybe you're getting all of your make ready covered with the incentives there. And so that's that's where they are with that. So it's a pretty good program, worth looking into if you're in that market. One thing I'm going to do, and you noticed in the show note, in the title, and I forgot to mention it in the beginning, I'm going to cover Kentucky with this one because it's really not worth doing a separate short for Kentucky, because the state of Kentucky has very, very little, unless you're on, they have a power company program, LG&E or KU. Both of those programs, under that program, they will provide you with a free charger. You pay for everything else. Kind of the opposite of what we see, right? It's opposite of what we see at a lot of these utility things. A lot of times it's kind of reversed around. So they're giving you a free charger and you got to go pay for everything else. I prefer the programs that work the other way. Didn't want to skip Kentucky though altogether, because they do have a program. So didn't want to leave them out, but they don't have the best stuff going on in Kentucky. So that's it for today. We covered Kansas and Kentucky today. Kansas, obviously the better of the options there. So see you on the next one.